Coming up on FYI. Don't give up, I didn't give up. I believed in myself and I made it here and I've come quite far.
I think smartphones shouldn't be allowed for children under 13.
Seeing the tallest tree in England is very cool.
This is FYI, bringing you the news that matters to you. And first up, we're looking at why so many girls drop out of sports when they become teenagers. According to the charity Women in Sport, 1.3 million girls fall out of love with sports after primary school because of issues like body image and feeling like they're being judged by others. But there is some good news. A recent report of theirs found that more girls than ever want to pursue a future in sport. 38% of girls aged 13 to 24 now dream of reaching the top of sport, compared to just 29% the previous year. The charity thinks this is partly thanks to more women's sport being available on TV or online. And events like the Paris Olympics last year also had a really positive impact. One of the stars of the Olympics was 16-year-old skateboarder Sky Brown. Many think she has been a key player in inspiring more girls to take up the sport. Maya went to meet her.
When you think about skateboarding, there's no one bigger than Sky Brown. She became the youngest Team GB athlete to win an Olympic medal when, at just 13, she claimed bronze at the Tokyo Games in 2021.
Sky Brown is now 16, and she's been credited by some for being a big part of the reason why we've seen such an increase in skateboarding among girls.
Girls are 8 times more likely to skateboard regularly than they were in 2018. But, according to the Youth Sports Trust, whilst nearly all girls aged 7 to 8 enjoy PE, this figure drops to around half of girls aged 14 to 15.
Nearly 2/3 of girls want to be more active at school, but there are barriers that stop them from taking part, such as low confidence, being on their period, or having others watch them. So, Sky, you're one of the best skateboarders and athletes in the world. How does that feel?
It feels pretty amazing, I've worked definitely very hard for this and very, very thankful.
We found that girls our age are half as likely to take up sport than when we were about 8 or 9, because apparently most girls our age don't have the confidence to do sports. And what do you think should be done to fix that?
We shouldn't let boys have all the fun. Nothing should stop us. Skateboarding and surfing, there is a lot of guys doing it. When I was younger, I was the only girl out in the water or out at the skate park, and it can definitely be intimidating, but
Yeah.
I just didn't care what they think. I just showed off what I've got to them, and glad that didn't stop me.
Have you had any friends who have dropped out because they didn't feel confident?
Yeah, there's definitely been a few that, didn't have enough confidence or, didn't think they could do it.
And what advice would you give to young girls who want to get into sport but they're a bit scared?
Don't care what people think, just do you. Don't give up, I didn't give up. I believed in myself and I made it here and I've come quite far.
Some great advice there. But what did the other kids at the skate park think?
I've been skating for everyone because anyone can do it. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It's dumb if it's only for boys, and it's dumb if it's only for girls. It should be a mixed sport. I want my girl skating because I've only met 3. I really love it, and I think that other people should enjoy it as much as I do.
It seems like there's still a long way to go to make sure that every girl who wants to take up a sport can do so. But hopefully, role models like Sky will continue to inspire young girls to enjoy sport.
Now, time for this week's fake news or fact. What do you think about this next story? The US President Donald Trump is regularly in the news for making controversial statements. And since being re-elected, he has talked a lot about wanting to buy Greenland.
We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it.
Greenland is a territory of the country of Denmark. And we saw a video being shared online of the Danish government laughing hysterically in Parliament, with the claims that this was apparently their reaction to Trump saying he wanted to buy Greenland. But is that true? We'll let you know later in the show. Did you know there is a way of getting your views heard by the government? The Children's Commissioner for England, Dame Rachel de Souza, whose job it is to get young people's voices heard by the adults in charge of the country, has been asking for children's opinions on how to make England the best place to grow up. So we asked one of our FYI news clubs what they thought. Their views will be directly heard by members of the UK government at the Festival of Childhood, a special event hosted by the Children's Commissioner, which FYI will be reporting from on next week's show. For now, over to the pupils at Esher Church School.
I think if we could expand places like leisure centres, make them more accessible for people with like disabilities or like social anxiety.
I think smartphones shouldn't be allowed for children under 13. Otherwise, they'd be spending too much time on screens and not enough time outside, and they could be going on sites they're not supposed to or doing things that aren't appropriate for them.
I think you should treat everyone the same with respect and dignity, no matter what skin tone they have, if they have a disability, if they struggle with learning or anything like that. People who can't access different sports and facilities will be able to do these activities for free to help them so they can still have fun even if they don't have money.
I'd like there to be more youth clubs because it would help kids like me to become more independent. There should be more music facilities because music is such an important part of people's lives.
I think what would make England a better place to grow up is if the roads were quieter so that children could walk home by themselves safely and maybe even cycle home.
More eco-friendly cars and transport, it would be much better. Like people, if they have asthma, it'd be better for them.
Since we are a more developed country, we probably don't need to use as many fossil fuels.
Security should be tighter so that children can walk around feeling safe in their own country.
I think that it would be safer for me and for everyone else if the government was more strict on knife and gun laws. I think it would be better if children could get involved in their parents' voting and tell their parents who they think should be elected and why.
Thanks, guys. And we found out that there's another way you can get your opinions heard by those in charge. The government's Department for Culture, Media and Sport has a survey running until the 16th of April. Young people can give feedback on support and facilities in their local area. Just head to our website to find out more info. first.news/FYI. We'll be catching up with Government Minister Lisa Nandy when the results of the survey come in to find out what she plans to do to improve our lives outside of school. It's a little way off, but we've been seeing headlines about the 2032 Brisbane Olympic and Paralympic Games being held in Australia, which made us go OMG! The Fitzroy River in the state of Queensland, which is home to Crocodiles, is due to host the rowing and canoeing events for the Games, which has made big news. Despite crocodiles being regularly spotted in the river, a local rowing club who train on the Fitzroy say media reports about it being crocodile infested have been sensationalised and that the risks of encountering a crocodile are well managed. The Premier, or Minister for Queensland, has said the government would consider surveying, trapping and removing crocodiles from that stretch of the river where the rowing events are held. No doubt the thought of crocodiles will make the athletes row their boats a little faster down the stream. And back here in the UK, there's a very different danger lurking in our rivers. It's not crocs we need to worry about, it's poo. Data released by the government's Environment Agency showed that water companies released raw sewage into England's rivers and seas for a record 3.61 million hours last year. It happens because sewage and rainwater share the same pipes. And when there is too much rain, the sewage overflows into waterways to prevent sewage treatment works being overwhelmed. It's having a massive impact on the wildlife in our rivers, and we covered this issue in a special FYI Investigates episode recently. Scarlett visited wildlife presenter Steve Backshaw to learn more.
Steve lives by the River Thames in the south of England, and he's been monitoring the river water here for several years.
For us, we have a sewage plant 500 metres upstream from here, and after heavy rains, they will discharge for 10 hours, 20 hours, raw human effluent into the river. After one of those outages, if you took a cup of this water and drank it, you would end up in hospital. It's incredibly damaging to human health, but also to animal health too. I wouldn't want my dog to be drinking from the river right now. This year, when we've had a lot of sewage outages, the amount of wildlife on the river has been radically reduced. And it's not surprising, because they are swimming around all day long in sewage.
You can head to our website to watch the full episode of FYI Investigates, Saving Nature. Where has our wildlife gone? You can also watch all our other special FYI Investigates episodes too, including Disability and Me, which we are super proud to announce has been nominated for a BAFTA Television Award. Check it out at first.news/FYI. Do you know where England's tallest tree is? Well, neither did we, until we got invited along to join local school pupils who were measuring it. Here's FYI guest reporter Max with more info.
This is the tallest tree in England. It's 63 metres tall. It's the same as stacking 10 double-decker buses on top of each other. This tree is so big, it makes enough oxygen for 5 people just standing there. It's called a Douglas fir. They can live for over 1,000 years. This one's 150 years old and can be found here in Exmoor National Park. Today, I'm joining the pupils from Dunster First Primary School who are learning all about it. What kind of stuff have you been doing today?
Activities like about the forest and how it grows, and we've been measuring like these really cool trees as well.
You can measure trees different ways. You can measure it with a stick.
You heard that right. We've been learning how you can estimate the height of the tree. One method is the stick trick. You find a stick as long as your arm, hold it straight up at arm's length, lining the bottom of the stick with the bottom of the tree. Move until the top of the stick lines up with the tree top, and then stop and mark the spot. Count your biggest steps from there to the base of the tree. Each big step is about 1 metre, so whatever number you get is roughly the height of the tree. What's it like seeing the tallest tree in England?
Amazing, because literally I've never seen a tree like that big.
Seeing the tallest tree in England is very cool.
The trail where these trees grow is called the Tall Trees Trail and was originally planted like a giant outdoor tree museum. It's called an arboretum. The trail has just been revamped so that the paths are more accessible for those wanting to see England's tallest tree and the other giants here, including the tallest storm redwood and the tallest magnolia.
This is in a really special place, so it's in a valley and it's warm and it's wet. So the rainwater comes all the way down and it feeds the nutrition in the soil, which makes the trees grow taller here much quicker.
With more than 1 in 3 tree species worldwide facing extinction, it's why places like this are so important. And the team here are constantly monitoring the forest to make sure the trees are healthy.
If there are any trees with diseases, then we check all the trees around them, and then we might treat those trees for diseases or perhaps fell those trees so that we remove any risk of that disease spreading.
Why do trees mean so much to you?
Trees are really important for our life because they breathe out oxygen, which helps us breathe. I just like them being there for me because sometimes I like reading books in the woods and I like leaning on them. Like part of my heart, basically.
So, did you work out this week's fake news or fact story? The video of the Danish government laughing hysterically in Parliament, apparently in response to the US President Donald Trump wanting to buy Greenland, is fake news. The video is actually over 5 years old now, and the ministers were laughing about something completely unrelated. Denmark's Prime Minister's response to Trump saying he wants to buy Greenland has been quite different. She spoke out and said that they are taking the situation very seriously and that the US are putting unacceptable pressure on Greenland. Trump says he wants Greenland for international security, but some think it's also because the island is rich with oil and minerals, thought to be worth more than $2.5 trillion. Greenland's newly elected Prime Minister has made it clear that he doesn't intend to sell the island.
We are not for sale. We don't want to be Americans. No, we don't want to be Danes. We want to be Greenlanders.
That's about it from us, but we'll see you next week for more of the latest top news. Bye! See you next time.